Dan Coates, Danny Van Tripe. Welcome to the MODUS Super Series. Danny, we'll start with you. You've come off the back of quite a big night last night.
Yeah, it was a tough night. It was a big night, and the title means a lot for me and Jimmy, and I'm happy with the win.
Dan, part of the Bullhitters, your debut here. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. Nervous, excited. So yeah.
You don't have to be nervous.
Yeah, I've got a good partner in Danny. So yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your darting experience, Dan.
Yeah. So at the moment, trying to play a lot more competitive darts, playing a lot of ADC darts, playing quite well. But yeah, nothing to this caliber. So yeah, see how the stage goes.
Danny, have you ever done anything like this before?
No, never.
Looking forward to it, though?
To be honest, I don't know any of the influencers. I don't know nobody. Yeah, I know Dan and the Bullhitters now, because I watched some TikToks and with the cows. I saw him. But I saw he's a very decent player, and I hope we're gonna win today.
Speaking of the Bullhitters, you get to play the other two in this group.
Yeah.
How you feeling about that?
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to make me more nervous or less nervous, but yeah, obviously I'm used to playing them on the camera, so yeah, hopefully it goes all right. Hopefully I manage to play some decent darts.
Well, fellas, I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ollie Howard, Peter Wacheri, welcome to the MODUS Super Series. Peter, we'll start with you. How did the last week go for you?
Good morning, everyone. Last week, so it was a terrible week because I didn't manage to do what I was thinking about. Though I was very much grateful to have that opportunity. Thank you very much.
Ollie, it's your debut here, part of the Bullhitters.
Yeah.
How you feeling?
And looking forward to it, mate. Yeah, really looking forward to it. Hopefully you can bring some good arrows onto the stage. Not sure about the last couple of appearances I've made on our YouTube videos, but hopefully it's better than that.
Peter, obviously you're a crowd favourite. Are you looking to bring the atmosphere today?
Of course, why not?
Going to be a big atmosphere today,
It
isn't
will be
it?
big again, eh?
Good man.
Yeah.
Ollie, obviously you play county. Tell us
Yes,
a little
yeah.
bit about your darting experience.
So I started playing probably competitively about 5-6 years ago. Started off at Pub League, went to Super League, and then this is my first season playing county, and I've taken to it pretty well, to be fair. I've won 6 out of my 7 games, enjoyed the stage, so yeah, thrived off that, but hopefully yeah, I can keep going for the many years to come, but yeah, just enjoying the experience while it lasts for now.
How do you feel about playing the other two Bullhitters in your group?
The thing is, we can all play well on our own day, so it's going to be tough, and I know that hopefully my stage experience might come into play. I know Dan's played county for Hampshire as well, so it could be a little bit, could come down to that. But again, Bailey can put in some very good darts as well, so hopefully we can come out on top with the king.
We will conquer.
Okay. Conquer, yes, I like that word.
Well, fellas, I wish you all the best.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Red Dragon MODUS Super Series Influencer Dart Showdown event here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. It is time to introduce the players. Would you firstly please welcome to the stage? He is 1/3 of the Bullhitters with over 68,000 TikTok followers and 37,000 YouTube subscribers, Dan Coates, and the newly crowned International Pairs Champion, Danny Van Tripe.
I am number one, not number two. If I'm not the one, I'm uncomfortable. See the competition I've been running through.
Now, please welcome their opponents. He is also 1/3 of the Bullhitters with 76,000 TikTok followers, Ollie Howard, and his partner for today. He is a massively popular player here at the MODUS Super Series. He made a Super Series final on his debut. It's Peter Wachuri!
Good afternoon and welcome to the MODUS Super Series Red Dragon Influencer Dart Showdown here at the MODUS Live Lounge and coming to you live on Pluto TV for our 4th iteration of this event, the first of 2025. And in a change to previous events, this time we are playing pairs only. We're going to keep the pros up on stage all day. I'll find out who will be our next champion. My name is Jack Garwood and I'm alongside the former world youth champion, Mr. Keegan Brown. Keegan, how are you looking forward to this afternoon?
I'm definitely looking forward to it. You know, like I said previous, this is one of my favourite events that we have down at, obviously, the MODUS Super Series. And I think, like you just alluded to that, I think having it as pairs, I think it gives it a proper playing field, a level playing field for all the players.
Yeah, in the past we have had a pairs competition and a singles competition when we've taken part in the Influencer Dart Showdown. Traditionally playing the pairs first, followed up by the singles, but just one trophy on offer for the players today, which means every single dart counts. Your format for today, there'll be 3 groups of 3 players. They're going to play in a round robin, with the top team from each group progressing
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, first leg, it's Dan Coates and Danny Van Tripe
all of those group
first.
games, there'll be one more team to progress through to the semi-finals, and that will be decided via a 9-dart shootout of all the players that finish second. Drama
85.
guaranteed, Keegan Brown.
And it's just kicking off at 12 o'clock on a Sunday. So, yeah, it's going to be a perfect day of darts here at the MODUS. And, you know, that the best pair win.
Indeed. First up, Peter Wachuri up on the Oki. The Kenyan King was part of Team Kenya this week, taking on Danny Van Tripe. Danny, one of the victorious
28.
pair last night, alongside Jimmy Van Schie. And each of them are paired with one member of the Bullhitters. That's Ollie Howard at the Oki right now.
95.
Lovely visit from himself to open. Meanwhile, Danny is paired with Portsmouth local boy, Dan Coates.
81.
Does that bring with it a pressure in itself, Keegan, that there might be a few more in that crowd expecting a little bit from Mr. Coates?
Yeah, I think so, because it's always good when you got support and family in there watching.
140.
But sometimes it's more of a double-ended sword as such. You know, you expect more, you're then trying too hard to perform, you know, under the circumstances.
77.
But I think, obviously, with the influences, now this is, you know, we've seen multiple events here at the MODUS Super Series.
140.
The influencers are now practicing for this one day specifically.
Yeah, certainly looks so.
140. Peter required 56.
Great standard to start. Ollie Howard and Peter Wachuri, 56 after 12. Tops for the King. Can he use that one there?
36.
Ooh, just below.
Danny required 90.
And it's Dan Coates returning for the first team. Needs a treble 19 now.
32. Ollie require 20.
Chance then for Ollie Howard to get the first leg on the board. Bit of a wild one, double 7 now.
Game shot on the
Nails
first
it with
leg.
last start in hand.
Ollie Howard and Peter
Ollie
Wachuri.
Howard and Peter Wachuri take the lead in our opener.
Second leg is Peter to throw first. Game on.
And we sort of expect that level in this group, don't we? These guys are incredibly steady dart players, making waves in their own right in the amateur game. And in the past when we've done this event, especially in the pairs competition,
28.
it's not really been about the pros. We've had our moments. We've had that Jaden Walker burst of magic. But actually, it's been about which team has got an
83.
influencer that is comfortable in and around the outer ring. Charlie Murphy, when he first played with Fallon Sherrick, was like, don't worry, I'll step up, I've got this. And he was nailing it. And that's the sort of thing you're going to
41.
need to see from the influencers today if they're going to go far.
Yeah, definitely. You know, we can, as we've previously explained, all dart players, we can all hit the good scoring, but it all comes down to the
59.
outer ring. And I think a lot of the influencers, while I was in the back room earlier watching them practice, they were practicing a lot on doubles. So, you know, they've now got the confidence where they feel, do you know what? I'm going to back the pro player up.
100.
You know, it's not going to be down to them to hit the double. It's going to be, I'm going to clean myself in the circle as well.
We'll go back to the bit where you said we at the start of that little
97.
conversation. I think you mean you. That's the proverbial we, isn't it, as a collective? There's a reason some of us normally stand where Owen Binks is stood today.
81.
Plenty to come throughout the day, though. Elsewhere in this group,
100.
we'll
Good
also
thinking there,
see
good thinking.
Bailey
Smart.
McNamara paired with Richie Burnett. Richie has been on fine form this week.
And we're not even talking about the darts, are we?
No, we're not. I mean, he made a final with Kurt Parry. Kurt, who hot-footed it last
42.
night all the way up to Aylesbury for the ADC Tour today. Scott Campbell's already on a beach in Malaga.
Some people have got easy, haven't they?
130.
Great visit from Danny Van Tripe, though. Should get Team Dan back in this match. That's what I'm going to call him now. Dan and
60.
Danny.
Danny require 32. Game show.
Great visit from Dan Coates. Levels us up in this one. Quick reminder, matches are best of 5 within the group stages.
It's Danny to throw first. Game.
A maximum of 3 legs remaining in this one.
It was quite funny if you look at, you know, obviously the dress code's a little bit more relaxed today, but, you know, if you look at Ollie, he looks like, you know, he's playing darts at 12 o'clock and he's going to get Mr. Whippy at 4 o'clock, doesn't he?
I think we missed that memo, to be honest, mate.
80.
I've made a bit of an effort today, and
Yeah. I'm wearing black trousers, not even playing darts.
$24.
one on the floor for Dan Coates. Bit unfortunate.
Or is he going to try to get the old 99 score before the end of the match?
60.
It's the traditional price of a 99, not the £3.29 it'll cost you these days. I don't think you can do that in 3 darts.
95.
And don't get me started on Freddo's. You know, a solid start from both teams. You know,
85.
both darts taken out an 18, so it's a, you know, very high standard so far, and we're only in the 3rd leg of the match.
Yeah, it is. Both of them.
41.
I think they'll have identified each other as a threat here as well. To play the very first game is not easy for anybody. Even the pros don't really like opening the show, do they?
No, definitely not.
100.
Nice to see Danny Van Tripe managing to stay on his feet so far.
100.
This week he's managed to fall off the stage. He's managed to drop a dart. He's managed to hit his head on the TV. And then in celebrating with Jimmy Ranjski last night, they managed to trip over the hockey.
It sounds like they've had a
Danny
very
require
successful
160.
week on and off the hockey.
$40.
A loose one from Dan Coates, and there's a chance here for Ollie Howard to register our first ton plus checkout of the day. Treble 20 for double 18. Ollie Howard, that is superb. Our first ton plus checkout of the day, and it's hit by one of the influencers. Ollie Howard of the Bullhitters,
Peter to throw first. Game
securing a
on.
2-1 lead for himself and Peter Washuri.
And yeah, another 18 dart leg.
Pretty consistent numbers so far.
45.
Both teams averaging in and around the mid-70s.
45. $140.
And how close was Ollie there? Got to our first 180.
Expecting a few of those today.
57.
And I think I always say pairs is such a harder game than singles because you've only got the one throw in 4 visits, so it's harder to get into a true flow of the
55.
game as such to get the rhythm going.
$99.
I think we've seen that a little bit this week throughout the international pairs, haven't we, Keegan? Some of the players, 1 minute red hot, the next minute not quite there. The Polish team at one point threatening to break records again. It seems to be a knack that Poland have as Ratajski and Kachuk hold the record.
100.
Yeah, a lot of the professional players that have played in the PDC for many years, this would be the first time, obviously, with the international pairs, and today would be the first time they've played pairs in a good 10 or 15 years. And, it's hard to get used to. I always find you need a good pairs party, but you need to have good chemistry, to make the team gel together.
81.
Yeah, it's going to be quite difficult if you like tops and I like double 16 who are paired together, because that's a crucial part of the leg. But won't see back-to-back Tom Plus. Check out Somali Howard, and there's a chance here for Dan Coates on one of the most awkward finishes in the game, it has to be said. No one likes 119, do they, Keegan?
59. Peter require 82.
Chance for Washuri to seal the first win of the day. Slap bang in the middle of the bullseye, double 16. One more in hand.
66.
Fires it
And
inside.
he requires 60.
And Van Tripe to send us all the way. Wants tops. Still wants tops. And he gets tops. We're level to a piece in our opening match here at the Red Dragon Influencer Darts Showdown.
5th and final leg, it's Danny to throw first.
And it's the newly dubbed
Game
Team
on.
Danny that have the advantage of throw in the 5th and final leg.
And he's going things the right way. Oh, we're giving that last to the crowd. Staying out of 1.
Yeah, a bit more, come on. Switched away.
139.
Genius. Comedy genius.
Shades of Dave Pallett on the Euro Tour. He left 170, 2 in the bed, gives it the big one to the crowd, lays up for a single 18,
95.
and then misses 3 at it and loses the leg to Daryl Gurney.
Yes, and I think that he lost the leg and the match, didn't he? Yeah.
He did indeed, but what a moment.
The peacock moment, I think we obviously
59.
nicknamed them sort of situations. We've got someone in the crowd that's obviously been to Washington recently.
45.
Not quite believe that's Dan Coates' partner, but open for interpretation if you're just going to use initials, isn't it, Keegan?
83.
2 strong visits from Danny Van Tripe, though.
This is where the professionals, kick into the game. They know what to do when it goes to a last leg,
95.
deciding leg as such. Being a dart player is nothing worse when you do go to a deciding leg, but there's nothing better when you're watching a game of darts when it does. You want games to go to the last leg and not just 3-0 wins, do you?
Yeah, we want all the drama, don't we? And Dan Coates has just perhaps set up a moment of drama. Could have stayed up on the 20s, but opted for the 10 to leave the big fish. Can Danny Van Tripe reel it in? No, he cannot. The line snapped.
The line snapped, and let's be honest, if he hit the 2 trebles,
81.
he would have done a Dave Pallett.
Dan Coates will return though for 89. How much pressure will it be under? Well, sure, he finds a treble. Could do with another.
85.
Just
Danny
below, and a chance for Dan
89.
Coates to seal the win.
What a
Finds
lovely
a treble
third.
19. Double 16. Last in hand once again.
73.
On the inside
Ollie
wire.
require 120.
Can Ollie Howard steal it with a 1-2-3?
Here we go. Look, we can. So he's looking at 16. 16 for the ball.
93. Danny requires
Leaves
16.
the awkward double 15 if they return, but Van Tripe pretty good on this target throughout the week. Now over to double 4.
12.
Danny boy, what have you
Peter
done?
require
Door wide
30.
open. And Peter Washuri, can the king take his crown?
Just off the marker. What a dart.
Game shot
The King hits the winning double in our opening match. Peter Washuri and Ollie Howard, the winners in our opener, taking down a 3-2 win over Team Dan. That's Dan Coates and Danny Van Schrijp. Superb opening to this tournament today, in which both teams played some lovely darts. Mid-70s averages, or 73 averages all around in that one. 2 from 9 on the outer ring for Team Dan, 3 from 11 from Ollie Howard and Peter Washuri. No 180s yet. Danny Van Schrijp did tease us throughout that one, but we'll return shortly to see if we can get one of those maximums.
Bailey McNamara, Richie Burnett, welcome to the Super Series. Richie, we'll start with you. The final of international pairs. How did the last week go for you?
Yeah, it was all right. Did it out, you know. I enjoyed the week though. It was a fantastic week. Good people, good company, and yeah, just fell short at the end. But fair play to Danny and Jimmy. They've been brilliant all week. Bit pest-wise, but good.
Bailey, your debut here, part of the Bullhitters. How you feeling?
Yeah, good. I mean, how can you not feel good when you got this man stood next to you, innit? So I've been watching him obviously on the international pairs and been playing amazing, so feeling really good.
Richie, you do a lot of exhibitions. How do you feel about them? Are you excited for today?
Yeah, I can see you put the word charity on anything and I'll be there. But, you know, I was there anyway, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, like I say, you're only 20 miles from me. It's the first time I've ever met him.
Yeah. You're one name away from knowing each other.
Yeah, that's right, yes. So yeah, no, but looking forward to having the game.
Bailey, in your group, you've got the other two Bullhitters. How are you feeling about that?
Fine, yeah, I think it'd be okay. I think obviously a lot of people want to see us play each other. And this will be the good test, I guess. But like I said, none of them have Richie stood next to them, so I'm feeling confident.
How are you feeling having Bailey, Richie? Because he's actually a bit of a handy player.
Well, great then. Well, that'll do me. I had a bit of a handy player this week.
Yeah, Kurt's a little bit better than me, but
he was outstanding, and what a lovely lad. And he's playing Darsley, so all the best, Kurt, if you're watching.
Well, fellas, I wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you very much.
Perfect.
Cheers.
Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Red Dragon MODUS Super Series Influencer Darts Showdown here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Would you firstly please welcome back to the stage for the second time today, it's Ollie Howard and Peter Washuri. And introducing to the stage for the first time today, he is 1/3 of the Bullhitters, Bailey McNamara. And the Prince of Wales, Richie Burnett.
I am number one, not number two. If I'm not the one, I'm uncomfortable. See the competition I've been running through. Leveled up, I only see him in my rear view. Switch. Yeah, I'm ballin'.
Back to Group 1 action then, where it's win and in time for Ollie Howard and Peter Washuri. After a tight opening victory over Dan Coates and Danny Van Schrijp in their opener, if Howard and Washuri get the better of Bailey McNamara and Richie Burnett in this one, they will be into the semi-finals as the group winners. Looking to stand in their way, though, is the former world champion Richie Burnett. He's been in fine form this week, part of Team Wales as part of our International Pairs Week, our first ever International Pairs Week here at the Super Series. It's been quite an interesting one for Richie Keegan, and one that will be interesting to see how it plays out this afternoon. He's sort of captained from behind for Wales this week. He's allowed Kurt Parry to go up and do his thing as the lead-off man, who's been very impressive in doing so, taking Wales all the way to the final last night, but he's going to have to lead from the front in this one, you suspect.
Yeah, you would have thought so. And you know, he's a bit like Merv, isn't he? He's got all the experience in the world. He knows what to do at the right times, and you know that's what Richie's going to have to rely on today, isn't he?
He is indeed. And if you look at players already in and around the tour, etc., I think Richie would make a great influencer, you know. I want to see more cameras around Richie Burnett at all times.
First leg, it's Peter to throw first.
my opinion
Game
about
on!
that. I think there would be more beeps in that podcast than there is beeping on the M25 during rush hour.
A little colourful at times can be our Richie, but
140.
doesn't make him any less entertaining for my money. Solid start though for Peter Washuri, who made a bit of a splash here at the MODUS Super Series when he went all the way to a weekly final, missing out to Scott Campbell in that one. Went home to Kenya to a reception fit for a World Cup winning football team, it seemed. The locals absolutely loved him on his return, and
41.
for a player that's made quite a splash, he's quietly going about his business today, isn't he?
Yeah, he is that. You know, it's good to actually see Bailey getting the memo for the ice creams after the darts. Another one with the old shorts on today.
The problem is, by the time we finish that, I'm going to go away and think, oh yeah, do you know what? I really fancy putting my shorts on. And it's gonna, the sun's going to have gone in. It's going to be too cold. We're going to miss out, Keegan. Worth it, though, to be part of a fantastic day here at the MODUS Super Series.
55.
This event live on Pluto TV for the first time.
40. Peter, you require 68.
You know, I'm finding that all the teams are playing well. You know, there's been a couple of missed starts here and there, but other than that, it's been a good standard of play throughout all the groups.
64.
Yeah, that dart to 4 was for the best start, for the best leg of the day so far, should I say. Howard and Washuri leave 4 after just 15, and they really are setting their stall out as one of the favourites to be victorious today.
Good thinking, Rich. 45. Only require 4. No score.
Bit of a
Good luck
wild
with
one.
169.
Not just from Ollie, but the final dart from Richie as well, who left his partner on a bogey finish, one that can't be taken out in 3
59.
darts.
Peter require 4.
So Peter looking at 2 2s. No, in the madhouse. Double 1.
Game shown the first leg. Ollie
And drive the
Howard and
king
Peter
mad though as he
Wachuri.
pins double 1 first dart in
Second
hand.
against Richie to throw first. Game on.
Solid start once again for Peter Washuri and Ollie Howard. Coming up next, we're going to get our first look at Charlie Murphy today. He's partnered with Dave Williams, or Darts of Fun, as you might know him, one of the OG TikTok influencers, shall we say. Shot to prominence playing legs online.
121.
With his partner in the background, reading out all the comments that were flying through on his live
60.
streams. And it is really ingenious how some of the TikTok influencers have got around those sort of things, isn't it? Like, oh, I've only got one camera, so how can they see me
100.
and everybody else? Let's get a mirror next to the board. Or, all right, a lot of them are now using online cameras and tech such as the Scolio, etc., to do that. But actually, in the early days, how they got around being able to
100.
see their chat function so that you can see them throw in, and it's that little bit more personable than just a camera on a board.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Our first influencer 180 of the day goes to Ollie Howard.
Yeah, if you want to beat Ollie down at the pier in South Sea Common very shortly, he would be buying everybody a nice 99
100.
cone.
He turned to the crowd, bit of a smile, but then it was all serious once he turned back around again, wasn't there? A bit of
45.
determination in his face. I will be the first to hit one today. And so sure he leaves 55. If Howard cleans that up in a couple of darts, it'll be 2-0 to the good
31.
and a leg away from the semi-finals.
Require 55.
Shauna Murph. That's a bit of a waiver. So you want tops for a 15?
16.
From a 180 to missing the board and then missing the big number.
That's darts, ain't it? That is darts in a nutshell.
Darts comes at you
81.
fast, doesn't it?
Peter requires 39.
Looking at 19 or 7, so it's double 16. 2 8s to go Tino up.
23. Richie require 153.
Chance for a big outshot from Burnett then. With Kurt Parry taking most of these surveils this week.
121.
Beautiful setup from Burnett, but will Bailey McNamara get a dart at it? It's very possible now.
12.
Yes, he will. McNamara returns to level us up at 1 apiece. And 6 to 9 darts ago, this didn't look possible. Howard and Washuri were miles in front.
No score.
They might still bail themselves out of trouble here.
4.
So it's 2-2s. Just on top of the barrel. And he
Game
does.
on the second leg. Ollie Howard and Peter Wachuri.
2 legs to the good. Go Ollie Howard and Peter Washuri. And they are now
Third leg,
throwing
it's Peter to throw first.
for a
Game
spot in the semi-finals. And have won the group. Bailey McNamara and Richie Burnett will take on Dan Coates and Danny Van Tripe in the final game of Group 1. And it's looking like that'll be a straight shootout to get into the 9-dart shootout to get back into the semi-finals.
99.
Did you get all that, Keeg?
Not too confusing, is it? Especially for a man that thought there was 5 letters, really.
I wasn't going to bring that back up today, but if you want to go back there...
I'd rather bring up than you bring up.
Would I do that to you?
100.
Yes.
$85.
I'm sure he just keeps the score ticking over.
Yeah, I've been very impressed with the standard from the influencers today.
60.
This next visit will be one of the real tests, though, won't it? 266 for Howard. Will he get the maths right? Looking down. Yes, he will indeed, is the answer.
96.
And he leaves Washuri on the biggest checkout of them all.
41.
I
Peter
suspect
require
the roof of the MODUS
170.
Super Series would come off if Washuri can nail this. First treble in. Narrowly misses the second. I thought it just nested off the barrel when you saw the first dart move.
98.
But he tees it up nicely again. Howard and Washuri have been incredibly efficient.
There's nothing too much. The current average compared to the first match averages, maybe half a point within it. So, yeah, so
Will he require
very
72.
consistent so far throughout the day. So it'll be another 16 for tops. And they'll be looking at double top to wrap it up.
52.
Just slowing
Really
again. If
require
there is one thing this duo
146.
need to work on, it is their finishing stats. Their scoring has been sensational at times.
58.
Well, I think that's the
Peter
thing.
require
The score has been
20.
so good, they've actually been able to have 6 or 7 darts for a double.
They've needed it. But this time, Peter Washuri
Ollie Howard,
seals his
Peter
spot in the
Wachuri.
semi-finals. He takes himself and Ollie Howard there. Group 1 will be won by Washuri and Howard. That means second place for a spot in the 9-dart shootout will be a straight battle between Bailey McNamara and Richie Burnett, and Dan Coates and Danny Van Tripe coming up when we return to Group 1 in a couple of games' time. Coming up next in Group 2, we'll get our first look at Charlie Murphy. He'll be paired with darts of front Dave Williams, taking on the darts chef and Marto Outhouse. But in this one, it is Howard and Washuri who wrap up a 3-0 win and seal their spot into the semi-finals.
And welcome back to the final group of Group 1 in this influencer event. And now we say it was a both win situation for both groups of pairs. And this is what we always say with darts. It is literally in your hands. So both sets of players, they know what they need to do to get through to that potential 9-dart shootout.
Yeah, strange one this, Keegan, isn't it? It's a playoff for a playoff. Something that you don't see too often. But the main thing is that whoever wins this match will remain in contention. Even if it's just 9 more darts they throw today, we will see them up on that stage at least one more time.
First leg, it's Richie to throw first. Game on.
See Owen Binks calling the action for this match. And Richie Burnett gets us underway.
Nowadays can change in darts. Yesterday our stage was decorated with the 12 nations flags that took part in our International Pairs Week. Richie Burnett was here in his Welsh shirt, paired alongside Kurt Parry. Danny Van Tripe was picking up a trophy a couple of hours ago alongside Jimmy Van Schie. We've already seen one Dutchman depart this afternoon.
81.
Himself and Stevie White exit without winning a leg in the competition. If Danny Van Tripe and Dan Coates are beaten in this one,
40.
Danny will exit pretty swiftly too. Marry me, Dan. What's in it for me?
41.
I want to marry Dan. Nice and straight visit from Dan Coates. Keeps them within touching distance in the opening leg, but they do trail.
60.
McNamara and Burnett with the advantage of throw in this one.
But Danny's got different ideas.
83.
Every team in every group will throw first once and will be against the darts in their other game.
24.
These groups replicating what we typically see here on a Saturday night, although there is only 2 groups normally, Group 1 and Group 2, with the top 2 from each group progressing on a Saturday to the semi-finals, and then a winner taking their spot at Champions Week and lifting the trophy up on that stage.
I wasn't too sure if, Owen Binks was then trying to tell one to sit up or sit down or just start singing. I wasn't too sure with that hand movement there.
60. Richie require 110.
So Richie trying to keep it. This is 72 left.
74.
That's good darts to leave 36.
And 154.
One go then for Dan Coates, finding himself up against it a little bit.
58.
So he might be playing under the pressure of having a pretty big following here in the building. He's already had a marriage proposal this afternoon.
No score. Danny require 96.
McNamara can't find a double 18 though, and a chance for Van Tripe,
36.
who so far has managed to stay on his feet all day, which is a pretty good record for Danny.
Game shown the first leg. Bailey McNamara and Richie Burnett.
He does find himself trailing once again alongside Dan Coates. McNamara and Burnett take the opener. They were legless in their previous encounter. Ollie Howard
60.
And Peter Washuri doing a job on Team McNamara. But that one in their favour means the only pair that will finish without a win today is Team White.
You can tell the tension. There's a lot of tension out in that hockey at the moment. Both teams now know what they have to do to avoid the drop.
85.
Every dart counts from here, doesn't it, Keegan?
Yeah.
They're in effectively a knockout match now.
60.
And they're under even more pressure with the 3 or 6 darts that each player on stage will throw in that 9-dart shootout. And then they're into the semis and the finals, the big games.
It's weird when you play your first match. It's all about what's on the table. Then all of a sudden, within another match, it's cutthroat. This is what you have to do.
100.
Visit from Dan Coates. Played as part of the Hampshire County squad in the past.
I thought the large chair was actually Ollie buying everybody ice creams in the building.
85.
You didn't buy us one. We're missing out here.
Unbelievable. Eh?
Stick us up here in the corner, out the way.
With an air conditioner, you know.
Down to require 155.
Chance then for Coates Bit of a long shot.
100.
Beautiful setup though. Tees it up nicely.
That is what you call a proper professional visit there.
Yeah, that's the difference between what we're seeing in this group and perhaps we've seen in these events in the past. Don't get me wrong, we've had some talented influencers here previously.
On the second leg. Dan
Not ones that have been banging in 1-3-1s to leave 24 that not only know the maths but can pull off the execution as well.
It's Richie to throw first. Game on.
Richie filling the bed up.
Whoa!
And he does so.
180.
Bang on cue.
Whoa!
I don't know what to make of that.
For a minute there, I thought it was...
Apparently a T-Rex has just entered the room. Wait.
For a minute, I actually
Game
thought
on.
it was the mid-90s and Jurassic Park
What's just
was
happened?
back at the cinemas. Actually, was it Jurassic Park meets Godzilla? Sort of switch over thing?
Excuse me, laughing.
I don't know what it was. I'm not sure I want to hear it again, Keegan, so suddenly I'm Team McNamara in this one.
83.
Danny, if you have got a sore throat after that impression, we've got some strepsils up here in the commentary box
41.
here.
As 180s go, the start of that wasn't terrible either. So near to our second of the leg. Dan Coates trying to get in on the action. Keeps this leg nice and tight. It's 5 perfect darts from Richie Burnett.
140.
Richie rolling back the ears.
Has a player over the age of 50 ever done something good on a dartboard and not been accused of rolling back the ears?
I think
60.
looking at the youth
Anyone
players
want
nowadays, I think is
140?
anyone above the age of 30.
45.
We've actually rolled back more times than Asda prices.
Some frightening youngsters about in the sport at the moment. One of them carrying away days right now in group number 3. We'll see them again shortly.
48. I like it. Richard required
Coach
95.
sets up the big fish, but will Danny Van Tripe get a look at it?
So there's 86. 68 left. Treble 20.
45.
Richie, go your own way, son.
170. Definitely
Just
45,
realised, I
mate.
think. Oh dear, my bad. I've left him the ball.
Definitely right, Richard.
I'd have gone for that, Danny.
81. They require 50.
Right. When
Surely.
you get a moment in front of the cameras. Oh,
You need bust.
All right, what was that actually for? Right, okay. Apparently it was a slip. I think it was for the ball.
what's he switched there for?
I've never seen this, but if he pulls this off, oh, 216s.
18.
Go your own way,
Danny
Bailey.
require 89.
Chance then for Dan Coates. Treble 19 first. 20 or treble for double 5 for the lead.
No
Drags
score.
it into the wrong bed. How
Richie
costly could
require
that be to
32.
Team Coates? Burnett wants double 16.
Game show on the third leg.
Been a little bit
Bailey
understated today for
McNamara,
Richie Burnett, but
Burnett.
he's doing a decent little
Well,
job
it's
here
Danny to throw
for Team
first.
McNamara. And they lead 2-1. They're just a leg away from their spot in the 9-dart shootout. Remember, Ollie Howard and Peter Washiri
83.
have already won this group. They've beaten both the pairs up on stage already. So they will be progressing as the group winners.
100.
The winner of this game will be the first team confirmed into the 9-dart shootout.
60.
A lot of pressure on both sets of players here. We've not seen too much of the old jerky action, have we, from Richie, you know?
28.
Obviously, my nickname for Richie's Buckaroo. Because that's what he looks like, ain't it? You put the last thing on the Buckaroo bark, and then all of a sudden he flips up, and it's like Richie in his last art.
Yeah, legs akimbo
60.
for Richie. Like Swan Lake on ice. Maybe more like Bambi sometimes, actually.
I don't know how many
60.
black trousers has he split over the years.
It's be difficult to keep your focus when Richie's up on that stage, I'll be completely honest. Not just from a playing capacity, but you just see him doing these things out the corner of your eye when you stood there trying to referee for him. Gotta keep your composure when Richie Burnett's in town.
30. I remember about 8 or 9 years ago, I played Richie in Milton Keynes, and anyone who's ever played darts in Milton Keynes knows that the area is a very big hall we play in.
135.
And the table was quite clear, obviously very close to the hockey, but we actually had to get 2 officials to move the table 6 foot further back, so I didn't get kicked in the shins every time he went up for his last dart.
Inspired by Bruce Lee, it seems at times.
19.
Well, that could be his nickname, Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, there is the Welsh link as well. The
100.
Prince of Wales himself.
59.
One of 2 princes we've seen here this week.
Got 2 kings.
No score.
That's the wrong double, Danny.
Haley require 170.
Would have been the right one if you'd hit just the single 19. Made a bit of a mess of that one.
So 78. Look, should we look at treble 18?
40. Daniel require 59.
Making a mess of it. McNamara leaves 77, but a chance for Coates to level us up at 2 apiece. Which is exactly what he does. Clean kill of 59, and we're going to a deciding leg. So our shootout to get into a shootout is now in a 1-leg shootout. Are you following?
Barely. Barely. It's more confusing than trying to work out the non-league football tables into the conference, well, the all-conference.
22.
And you've got teams below the Watford Gap playing in the Conference North Division because there's too many teams in the South.
46.
Edgy start from both the pros.
140.
And Coates taking his team's future on his back with that 140. Edges them in front. And if Burnett goes trebleless,
60.
They'll stay in front.
One thing I've been really impressed with is when matches have gone down to the last leg, the deciding leg, how the influencers have sometimes actually looked better than the pros.
I guess it just, there is that little expectation of them that they can just go about their business nicely, isn't it? You get to that serious moment, you got the influencers looking at their pros going, come on in, this is your job, you should be getting us out of trouble here. And that doesn't always materialise. And Coates has been superb in this leg though.
96.
Van Tripe on 128 after just 12 darts. Another one of those. For double 10, Danny Van Tripe.
180.
Narrowly goes inside.
Require
He's double 10. Dan Coates probably would have preferred a miss on the outside if they are to return, which is exactly what they will. 78 remaining for McNamara.
84.
Tried to leave double 12, but no good.
He's left it semi-handy for Rich if he returns. That's a marker. Surely.
No score.
Unable to use the second one.
Richie requires
which was placed pretty nicely, and a chance for Burnett. 20 for tops. Keeps it out of the way. 1 at tops.
34.
Bit of a flyer from Burnett. 10. And Van Tripe drags it low. Single one, no good.
It's been a lot of big number misses from the pros today.
Yeah, perhaps just a lack of concentration at times, but McNamara has seen off Team Danny. Dan Coates and Danny Van Tripe are out. Bailey McNamara and Richie Burnett live to fight another day. It won't be straight into the semi-finals. They will be into a 9-dart shootout. Richie Burnett getting himself pumped up for that one, which will follow in a couple of matches' time. But that's when the pros are going to earn their big bucks, isn't it? In that one, with just their one visit they're going to get in that. but it is Dan Coates who departs, losing both his matches 3-2. Bragging rights in this group go to Ollie Howard, but it's Bailey McNamara that sneaks through alongside him. Next up, the conclusion of Group 2.